Before we start the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you can receive all our latest updates. The movie begins, and we learn that the world has ended due to nuclear wars and other conflicts. The nuclear radiation and pollution that spread through the atmosphere caused many people around the world to develop strange diseases, affecting their bones and causing severe blood contamination. As a result, many of those who got sick started looking strange and weak, resembling almost like specters. Of course, not everyone was affected, but most were. There were also other groups of people who remained healthy and normal, who then hid far away from the sick. The sick people formed many gangs with the aim of kidnapping healthy individuals for various reasons, such as extracting their blood for transfusions or breeding with them. After getting a glimpse of this world, we now move to a safe area where healthy humans live. Here we see two little girls, Yusa and Fikri, playing and picking apples from a tree. However, a problem arises when Furiosa and Valkyrie discover a gang nearby. Quickly, Furiosa heads to the gang's motorcycles, trying to sabotage them so they can't leave, knowing that if they manage to escape, they'll return with larger gangs to attack and destroy the city. While Furiosa tries to disable the motorcycles, one of the gang members spots her and catches her, stabbing her in the leg. She escapes, whistling to call for her mother's help. The townspeople, led by Furiosa's mother, hear the distress call and decide to act. Meanwhile, the gang captures Furiosa and takes her away on their motorcycles, fleeing the scene. Furiosa's mother, along with her friend, chases after them, managing to knock one gang member off his motorcycle. Furiosa's mother then takes his motorcycle, sending her friend back to the village for protection, and continues the chase alone. After a long chase lasting almost an entire day, Furiosa's mother finally spots the gang entering their hideout. She snipes another gang member from a distance, leaving only one left with Furiosa. Unfortunately, the last gang member manages to enter the hideout with Furiosa. Here we learn that the gang is led by a person named DeMents. DeMents' men question the captor about where he found such a healthy girl in these times. The captor claims she came from a prosperous place and offers to lead them there, seeking credit for himself. DeMents' men agree, but Furiosa fears they will discover her city and wipe out its inhabitants. She quickly and critically injures the captor's throat. After this, DeMents' men take Furiosa to DeMents, who orders one of his men to examine her health. After confirming her health status, DeMents decides to keep Furiosa. Sadly, the injured captor dies before revealing the location of Furiosa's city, frustrating DeMents. DeMents orders two of his men and a woman to take Furiosa to a tent and care for her. They comply, but Furiosa's mother, disguised to blend in with the gang, infiltrates the tent, kills the two men, and spares the woman who pleads for her life. She then escapes with her daughter on a motorcycle. The spared woman alerts the gang, and they pursue, shooting at them and causing an explosion that burns Furiosa's mother. Despite being wounded, she pushes on with Furiosa until they are eventually cornered by DeMents and his men. Knowing she is out of options, Furiosa's mother decides to sacrifice herself, instructing Furiosa to escape back to their city and giving her a seed to plant once she returns. After a fierce battle where she kills several of DeMents' men, she is captured and killed in front of Furiosa, who is also taken captive. The next day, DeMents gathers his men with Furiosa, who is now imprisoned in a cage. They encounter a man suffering from radiation sickness who believes he is in heaven after meeting DeMents and his men. The man reveals he comes from a place called the Citadel, ruled by someone named Immortan. DeMents learns the Citadel has plenty of food and water and decides to conquer it. The man confronts Immortan's men, claiming he has come to liberate them. However, Immortan's men are fanatically loyal, willing to die for him. They suggest DeMents leave to avoid a massacre, but DeMents refuses, resulting in a bloody battle where many of DeMents' men are killed. In the chaos, a group tries to kidnap Furiosa, but DeMents manages to save her and flee. Later, DeMents and his surviving men hijack a fuel truck from a place called Gas Town and take control of the town, negotiating a deal with Immortan for a steady supply of fuel in exchange for food and water. Immortan agrees, recognizing the mutual benefit. Immortan decides to make Furiosa one of his wives, hoping she can bear a healthy child, something his current wives have failed to do. However, Furiosa refuses to accept her fate, shaves her head to disguise herself, and plans her escape. She is almost caught by one of Immortan's sons, but manages to evade him. Of course, he doesn't report that he can't admit it. He was about to confess to a girl who would have become one of Immortan's wives. Years pass by with all that has happened, and we see one day that Immortan's men are now lowering a hanging car. We see Furiosa with them by the way, and of course, she has grown up a lot since then. Currently, she is one of Immortan's men like everyone else, but she is now hiding among them, and everyone thinks she is a boy. We learn that Furious has lived among them here in the castle for a long time, pretending to be a boy to be one of the soldiers until the right moment comes and she can escape. Currently, the hanging car was about to fall, but Furious climbs onto it and manages to secure it properly. Because of this, Furious begins to earn respect from everyone in the castle. Not long after, we see Furious and all of Immortan's men working on building a massive truck so that Immortan's men can transport the food and drink they trade with other gangs. Furious learns that when this truck is made, it will leave loaded with goods, food and drink, and it will be driven by an experienced driver named Jack. She decides that her moment has finally come to escape on this truck. Indeed, Furious and everyone work until the truck is built perfectly and then leaves the castle. Jack is, of course, driving it and Furious is hiding in the truck without anyone knowing her location. The problem that occurs is that on the way, bandits attack Jack's convoy and truck. They start attacking everyone to seize the truck and its contents. Jack and his men fight the bandits, but the bandits severely damage the truck to the point that it starts malfunctioning and could explode. Furious tries to repair it while also fighting off the bandits. The more Jack's men kill some of the bandits, the more stronger ones come, like a group with propellers on their backs flying and throwing bombs at the truck. Furious fixes the truck a bit, then appears to Jack, who is surprised but accepts her because she is fighting on his side. The man with a plane starts throwing fire at the truck and Furious takes him out, leaving only one bandit flying with a propeller. Furious hooks him and drags him close to the truck, grinding him up. After Furious kills all the bandits, most of Jack's men are dead. Furious points a gun at Jack, demanding he leaves the truck so she can escape, but Jack throws her out of the truck and drives away. After a while, Jack returns for Furious and explains that even if he gave her the truck, there is nowhere habitable except for Gastown or the castle, both under Immortan's or DeMents' control. Furious points the gun at Jack again, demanding the truck, but Jack tells her he lost many men today and is impressed by her defense of him and the truck. He offers her to become his assistant, promising to teach her everything about life in the roads, which might help her escape one day. Furious agrees and decides to go with him, becoming Jack's assistant, respected by everyone. After a while, Furious and Jack form a new convoy team and arrive at Gastown, a massive city filled with people working as slaves to extract oil in exchange for meager food. When they deliver their goods and take fuel, a Gastown resident tells Jack the situation is dire as DeMents has ruined everything and starved the people. They plan to wage war on DeMents soon. Jack, uninterested, only takes a weapon he had previously requested from the man and gives it to Furious for self-defense when she decides to escape. Days pass and Jack and Furious return to Gastown to deliver another load of food. This time, DeMents himself confronts Jack, refusing the small amount of food and demanding much more. Jack, without much argument, takes his food truck and men and leaves. Gastown's residents, on the brink of starvation, are desperate enough to kill everyone for the food, but DeMents lets them pass. Jack returns to Immortan and his men, informing them of what happened. Immortan decides to fight DeMents strategically, since a direct assault would lead DeMents to destroy everything. Immortan plans to use Jack, Furious, and their team to fight DeMents. Furious is eager for revenge on DeMents for killing her mother long ago. Days later, Furious, Jack, and Immortan's men attack Gastown's fortress, killing everyone in their way. DeMents arrives to see what's happening, and Furious tries to snipe him but misses. A missile doesn't kill her, but knocks her down. Jack rescues Furious and they escape since all their men are dead. DeMents captures them, but Furious escapes by cutting off her hand. She heads to Immortan's castle, with DeMents and his men failing to catch her. Exhausted and bleeding, Furious collapses and wakes in a cave with an old woman and severed limbs around. Fearing they might be cannibals, she leaves and returns to Immortan, informing him of DeMents' likely attack. Immortan prepares his army to finish off DeMents. Days pass and Immortan and DeMents' war begins, with both sides losing ground. Furious, having crafted a new metal arm, requests a vehicle to join the battle against DeMents. She is given a poor vehicle, but reaches a site of a past battle where Immortan's sons defeated DeMents' men. Furious takes a strong vehicle to pursue DeMents. Furious finds DeMents and his remaining men, killing several, causing DeMents to order his men to scatter. Furious follows a group, thinking DeMents is with them, but realizes he isn't. She returns and eventually captures DeMents, confronting him about her mother's murder. DeMents doesn't remember, but Furious beats him until he does. She considers killing him, but leaves his fate ambiguous. Years later, Furious plans to escape with Immortan's wives, hiding them in a massive war truck meant to collect fuel from Gas Town. Furious and the wives escape and the story ends there, leaving their fate open.